All right. What's going on, everybody? Give me a 1 second. Let's get Rockfin live. We're going to go ahead and get started. Y'all see we have a very special guest taking her time out of her busy, famous woman schedule, famous reporter schedule. But we're just waiting for Rockfin to go live. Fiorella going to give us a couple minutes at her time to give us a quick breakdown of what we have been seeing in Peru. All right, baby. We are live on Rockfin. Also, really quick, Fee, thank you very much for coming on the show. You are in Peru on the ground right now. Can you give a quick breakdown of, one, what's going on, why you're there, and the implications of the potential implications of this election?
Right. So I am in Lima, Peru right now. It's the race for presidency between Pedro Castillo of the party Peru Libre and Keiko Fugimori of the party Fuerza Popular. She is the right-wing candidate. He is the leftist candidate. It is a very tumultuous election because the country is really divided. Peru has had really a lot of corrupt presidents. Most of them have been corrupt. And the fear from the mainstream media propaganda from the West is that Pedro Castillo has an affiliation with communism, that he is affiliated with this old terrorist group that used to reign terror in Peru during the 80s and 90s called the Shining Path. And that was a Maoist group. And that group sort of unleashed a lot of terror on certain people. They attacked, had car bombs and, were trying to attack the rich, but it got pretty violent. And so Peru has that legacy. After that, Alberto Fugimori, came in and it imposed his right-wing authoritarian government, killing a lot of people at his command, sterilizing women.
Oh, wow.
Indigenous women in particular, a move of eugenics, to be particularly honest. And his daughter is now running for the presidency for the third time. And
how does she even have any level of popularity to be confident that she can even win? That's what I'm confused about.
It's gross. I mean, she was just here right now. She was voting over here. Yeah. And a lot of people don't know, weren't around. And a lot of people fear communism, the specter of communism so much that they're afraid that this country's going to turn into Venezuela, which is why a lot of Venezuelans have been coming here to work. So that's what they've been saying. Like, oh, we don't want to be Venezuela. We don't want to be Venezuela. However, Pedro Castillo is a candidate. He's a teacher. He's a striker. He's a protester. So he's not a radical leftist.
But I'll say, but by your standards, you wouldn't consider him a communist, though.
Oh, hell, he's not a communist. He's not a communist at all. But what people are saying is that his party is more left than he is. So, which could potentially be true, but he is the one that's running for president. So that's the dilemma here. This is why people are confused. A lot of people don't like her at all, but they also are like, well, at least I know she's corrupt, but at least it's not going to be communism in Venezuela. She's an
authoritarian, so but at least we're avoiding that communism because God knows what it would be like under an authoritarian government.
She's got charged for 30 years in jail for corruption herself, money embezzlement, money laundering. Wow. And so does her whole family. If she wins, she will forgive her father and she will also forgive herself, pardon herself. So that's what's going on. And she just voted here, and Pedro Castillo voted in his city, which is Cajamarca, and earlier. And so what's going to happen is at 7 p.m., the polls close. Within an hour, they're going to have all the votes pretty much almost counted to the point where they take the statistic and they name a winner. It's called the flash. Mm-hmm. Once that happens, they will designate somebody the winner. But the full count doesn't happen until 3 to 4 days after. So, but the full count does not change. It's never changed in the history of Peru who wins after the flash, right? It's always been the same. So that's what's going to happen.
Really quick, you were tweeting about the fact that there are talking about if Castillo wins, there could be a coup. That even the other side might, if Fugimori wins, there's still going to be a problem. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, the country is extremely divided, right? You have the workers, a lot of the working class, a lot of the people that are exploited, especially in the provinces. So like the rural areas, the mountains. Therefore, Pedro Castillo, because they have been getting pushed out of their land. forcefully by the elite, the people who are just trying to take over and create like more of a capitalist environment. So they're being pushed out. And so what's happening is these people are rebelling against the establishment, the privatization of the country. And so the fight right now is against, basically, it's a fight between capitalism and a more nationalist sort of workers approach. However, what's been fed to the people via the media and the establishment is that Pedro Castillo is affiliated with a terrorist group, which there has been no proof that he actually is, but that's what they're saying. And so if no matter who wins, I guarantee you there's going to be at least protests. People are already lining up in the center of Lima, Peru, and they're already there. I was told by one of the workers that I interviewed there that there's going to be by 7 o'clock there's going to be workers out there ready for no matter what. The military and the police, they were just here. I don't know if you can see it, but they were just here, and they are ready. Like, they were told to be alert, and a lot of businesses and banks started boarding up their windows and stuff, because the thing is, whether Keiko Fugimori or Pedro Castillo wins, you have the other side that's really upset, that's going to be really upset, and that's likely to protest. And so we really don't know what's going to happen. Really quick,
Kyle, I know you got to get up out of here to go on your show. So my general assessment of the situation, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that, like, his party might be left, but they ran the most milquetoast candidate that they could, because they knew Fujimori was obviously vulnerable. And so there's the potential for the people in Peru to just not be victorious at all in this race. And even that might be part of the reason for the protesting and the potential rioting, right?
Right. There's already calls and videos of ballots being filled out for Keiko Fujimori. I have some video that I just came across of a ballot being filled out for her. People shouting like the ballots were filled out with her name. Now, like I said, here in Peru, most of Peru, they use paper ballots. They don't use electronic machines. There were some areas in Lima that actually use electronic machines, but most of the time they don't. So it's easier to like track. However, when they count ballots, that is done in a private manner. And again, I have to reiterate for everybody, they can only vote today from 7 to 7. If they have a reason to not be able to vote during the time that they were allotted, according to their DNI, which is the ID, then they can go in any other time between 7 and 7. But most everybody is assigned to go at a certain time, depending on where the last number on their ID, because of COVID. So there is no vote by mail. There is no early voting. There's none of that. It's like you have to go in the polls, and if you don't vote, you get fined if you're under 65 years old. So,
oh, that's crazy. All right, so I'll let you go ahead and get over to your show. Thank you so much for giving us that update. Go follow the Convo Couch and go follow Fiorella on Twitter at _Fiorella, _IM on Twitter to get all the updates on the Peruvian election. Thanks, Fee. Go ahead and get up out of here.
Thanks, Niko.
All right, for everybody else, always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.